First of all, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to interact with all the startups in the Lift Off program at Vadwani. Today, we're going to focus on a specific tool which I have used multiple times to coach startuppreneurs and SMEpreneurs, as actually applies to both. And we'll spend the first half an hour going through the tool, and then we will actually have discussions around it, your queries, your doubts, and we'll see how you can actually implement it. You will also get a chance to download it. I'll show you where you can go and you can download it and you can utilize it practically in your business in the coming days, right? So it is a tool which you will be using. It's not a theoretical tool. It's something which you're going to apply, and it's also something which will help you define your sales and your marketing strategies. I've taken the liberty of including the marketing funnel in our discussion today. The reason being, at a startup stage, we don't have separate sales and marketing teams. So your sales and marketing funnel is pretty much the same funnel itself, and one impacts the other. So that's why I'm kind of combining both of them, and you'll also see why. So let's get started. I am on the customer advisory board of a couple of startups in Africa, where my role is to ensure that the business is truly oriented towards the customer. So whatever strategies that they make, which is impacting the customer, is kind of become their internal auditor to ensure that everything is aligned towards the customer. And we are truly a customer-oriented organization, all segments of business. Now, let's get started with the program, the topic of the day. Here, I have put together a very simple sales funnel. I have defined 5 stages in it. So each of you may have 5 stages, may have more or lesser stages. You can adapt this as per your business requirements. So let's look at what are the stages that I have identified over here. First one is where the widest part of the funnel is where you have created an awareness about your product or service with your customer segment, or the customer becomes aware of your product. Either you become aware of the customer or the customer becomes aware of your product or business. The customer expresses interest in what you are offering. That's the second stage. Then they evaluate your product or your services, and they make a decision, a conscious decision to buy from you. And lastly, the actual purchase happens, right? So this, if you see, is all from the customer's perspective. Remember, Shruti said, I love to talk about the customer perspective. I have successfully been able to coach business owners to solve some of their challenges, or when they have to make a decision regarding conflicting priorities, by using the customer perspective. So here today I've started with the customer perspective itself, right? And I'm sure this is very familiar to all of you. So let's look at the same funnel from the business perspective and see what exactly it means to us internally as a business. What happens here? When we're looking at the awareness, what we are actually trying to say is how can we reach the target audience? What is a reach to the target audience that we want to? Whether it is socially done, digitally done, or physically done, doesn't matter. This is the target audience that we are trying to create the awareness with, right? The next one, at the interest stage, this is typically when we get an inquiry, right? So if the customer is interested, how do we track it? By the fact that we've got inquiries coming in, right? Evaluations could be when there are some feature discussions happening over here with the customer. So they not just inquire, but they get into a deeper discussion about your features, your pros and cons, comparisons between you and the competitor. So this is where the feature discussions happen. The decision is where mainly the pricing discussions happen. It could be if you're a B2B, it's where you can send out a commercial proposal. If you are a B2C or a SaaS, this is where they go to your pricing page. And then the last one, purchase, is where your actual sales closure happens. Now, for you may realize that suppose not all of you will have these 5 stages. If you're a B2C, your funnel may be a little bit more shorter. That means maybe your inquiry and the discussion is actually 1 stage rather than 2 stage, or your discussion on your pricing can be 1 stage, right? So the funnel would apply irrespective of the number of stages that you have. Okay, so what you can do is define your sales and marketing funnel based on the different stages. Okay, My advice is not to have more than 5 stages. It becomes very difficult for you to manage, and I will also show you why. So a 5 is the maximum. I know organizations who have 7 stages, but these are typically enterprise businesses who have a longer sales cycle. So unless you are in that frame, a 5 stage sales funnel should be the maximum that you should try identify for your organization. Okay, so we are going to use this simple sales funnel in building actual funnel for our organization.